Thank you for that answer. I want to take a minute to recognize one of the founding co-chairs of the VR, AR, MR Caucus. It's a mouthful, Enhanced Reality Caucus, Darrell, Issa. We were talking last night about some of the technology that you've seen. As the Congressman knows technology, he owns more patents than probably everybody in Congress combined.
Yeah, but it's a low bar.
But we were talking about this technology. We were talking about the Magic Leap example that appeared in Wired magazine about Tinkerbell, and you said, well, in the 60s and 70s, people saw Tinkerbell floating around, but there was a different.
That was a different virtual reality.
But you talked a lot about some of the visionary things that could happen in terms of job skill training, in terms of people with ocular disorders, seeing in the future. And no, I want to. This is your setup. I want to introduce the Congressman. Thank you for your leadership, and greatly appreciate you being here.
Well, thank you, and I'll be very brief. I was actually over at a CTA event where we were talking about the workforce of the future, and quite candidly, the numbers are startling. If you take the number of people, as we talked last night, that work in our internet, if you will, society, the people that support the backbone and so on, it's 6% of the workforce, or 6% of the GDP for 3 million people. Well, the arithmetic on that is pretty interesting, because what it means is 50 million jobs for 320 million people if you had that same level of efficiency. Now that would mean that you'd have about 100 million people out looking for a job. Scare you, right? Except this is exactly where we were many generations ago, when half the population worked on the farm and 95% of those people are now off the farm, and yet we have full employment. So when we look at what's going to replace it, a lot of it's going to be exactly here. Creating new and innovative products that do and enable things that were never available before. And some of it's going to be, doing surgical training by doing a real life operation on a real human being that really lived or died based on your operation. But now you're going to get to relive it 100 times till you get it right, because you're going to be able to operate on that patient in virtual reality. You're going to capture the actual surgery and do it until you get the brain not to be broken. You're going to do it until you take care of the heart. Yes, you're also going to be able to design a house, a room, and your furniture that you've never been to, never lived in, and quite frankly, maybe decide you don't want to by the end of it all. But you're going to be able to do all of that quickly and with tools that aren't created today. Now I'm going to hit you with another one. It's going to be better than gaming. Because unlike gaming as we see it today, which is a big part of where we see, the virtual reality going, gaming is about somebody else's interpretation of what you're going to experience. Virtual reality in the foreseeable future is going to be about what you experience that nobody else anticipated. The tools are going to be far beyond the tools of the gaming world. So why do we need this caucus? Because we're going to start asking the question of, can somebody get their pilot's license with 75, 80, 90% of the time being a virtual reality? Can we in fact create better doctors with a lot less time over a human being and a lot more time in, if you will, the simulator, as we would call it today? Government's going to have to be creative in understanding that. And oh, by the way, there are some risks. And risks have to be borne by the creator, but they have to be not unreasonable. And that means government needs to make sure that we define what you can or can't do very, very broadly so that you can innovate. So, am I excited? I'm excited because I see the efficiency giving us 50 million people or more who are going to be available for new and innovative things we don't even have today. So, thank you for being here at the launch, because the fact is, every caucus says this is really important, especially like the Motorsports Caucus, the Fishing Caucus, the Friends of Pennsylvania Caucus. But this one is really the future. And everyone's lives are going to be touched by it and improved by the products that are going to come out of these innovations. And I gave you some hypotheticals. People are going to give you some currents. but you're going to be the determinant of what the new reality is, of what you can do that you can't do today. And just so you know, it doesn't replace the vacation, but it lets you plan your vacation in a way you never could have before. It lets you decide where you want to go and what you want to see in a way you would never before. So I'm still going to want to sit there on a boat under Niagara Falls and get wet, but I'm going to want to make the determination of Canadian side or US side without having to try both of them. So thank you. I'm excited. You might notice that. And I look forward to the rest of your presentation.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman.